Hey guys, how's it going? Hanging out with a friend of mine. We took 2 trucks to pick up 1 skid steer. You know it's a big skid steer when you have the need for 2 trucks. Actually, it came with a bunch of implements that are up there. And I guess some of it is also in here too. It actually came with a log splitter that goes on the front of the skid steer, but it has an external unit, that right there, that you could run on the ground and run the log splitter. And inside here is a VW transmission. So I'm gonna go shoot you some footage of the process of us getting it, and then we'll get back to the shop and we'll check out what we got. It's a kind of a different, well, it's a Chinese machine. Let's see what the quality is when we get back to the garage. But first, let's go get her all loaded up. Is that a bad sign? Load her up.
Oh. All right, brother?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. These are the ramps that I built so that when you change the oil, you can just back up onto it and then drop the belly pan down. It gives you enough room to drop the belly pan down and pull it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we got starter accesses from the top, you're saying? Show me a little bit later where you kind of...
Okay. Well, you want to go over it right now? So, yeah.
Let's load it up and then we'll get it outside in the light and we'll kind of check it out.
Yep.
Because all goodies to go with it.
Okay. All of this stuff here
Okay.
is I used to change the oil with that. I got transmission oil, hydraulic oil, engine oil.
Manuals.
I'm not going to do anything with it.
Comes with goodies.
You want a tutorial and go over it, or?
Yeah, if you would, just give me just a couple quick little how to do's.
Yep. Okay. Safety bar.
Does nothing without it.
It'll spin. It'll try to start, but it won't. It won't fire over.
Okay.
Right. It's got main power here. You can hear it clink. Okay. Right. You can hear it clink, and then this is the ignition. But it won't start because this is without the bar down.
If you go to put the bar up and get off the seat, does it die?
It'll shut off.
Okay.
It'll kill it.
Right.
Right. Right. Forward control, reverse control. Steering you'll pick it up from how it twists. If you've ever been on a skid steer, you'd know. Right?
I have a smaller one, but yeah.
Bucket up and down, bucket curl back and forth.
Okay, so nothing on, no foot pedals for.
No foot pedals for control with the bucket.
Okay.
The only time you have a foot pedal control is with the plow.
Okay.
When the plow is hooked on.
So auxiliary.
Yeah, angle right, angle left.
Okay.
It either way. I got big feet, so I just click it like that up and down, right? This was the oil pressure switch we added just for safety.
Okay.
And
Is that
throttle control right here?
all right?
This release here releases the cab. You pull back and unlocks the cab, and this cab tips up.
Okay.
And you can access the transmission, the main hydraulic lines, and the back of the engine. You can be able to see where the starter is.
Okay.
Right. It's a two-man job lifting it up. It's on them pressure release arms.
The little hydraulic cylinders, you mean?
Yeah. They never really work that well. They probably need to be heavier. So it's a two-man job. Don't try it yourself. You'll hurt your back.
Okay.
And you'll be sore for 5 years. I didn't bring the wrench. Oil, engine oil. Behind this panel, right? I have a thing in the garage that I keep next to it. You loosen these two up, pop it off, and you can reach in there, and there's a gray stick. It's the engine oil, and just pull it out and check it. It's a pain in the neck to get to.
Okay.
Either time, you know, it's nothing real easy. The bucket. You saw the controls.
Right. Quick connects.
Right. These quick connects for the plow and for the splitter. Pretty self-explanatory, male, female. The only problem is after the machine's been running the way it is, it gets pressure behind it.
Gotcha. So you're gonna go.
What I used to do is one will hook up and the other one won't. It feels like it's just not gonna go. I would turn on the power, move the sticks around, let it rest for a little bit, and a little bit of the pressure will slowly work itself off and pop it back on. Okay. Right. I always left the plow hooked up in the wintertime because...
That's my plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This got a safety if you have to work on it and it's up in the air. This is a safety that folds down so the bucket doesn't come down on you. Hydraulic. This was low. Right now it's right there.
At the top. Okay.
I thought it was like maybe 3 quarts low this morning, so I put in 2 quarts and I checked and it was a little low, and then the next quart filled it right up. But the level is right there. It should be right in the middle. So it's all probably got an extra quart in there.
Okay.
And like I explained, and there might be some in the parts that I gave you, right? It's like a big storm door, heavy duty storm door trigger, and all it does is it pushes that latch to open it up.
Okay. So I'm using that to grab this or something right behind it?
Right here. If you
okay, I see it.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All you got to do is push it. It's like a safety.
Okay.
This latch is actually a latch you put on from the inside of the door.
So if you're stuck inside there, you can get out?
Yeah. It's supposed to be on the cabin door, right? And then this lifts up to be able to access the top of the motor. Air filter, battery, antifreeze is over here.
And you're saying once in a while you go to crank it and just nothing happens. Do you hear the relay click or no?
You can hear it click, 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 click. So what I would do is I would just crack the key a couple times, click, 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 and it would turn over. Or the solenoid is straight down there. Can you see the top of the starter?
Yes.
Okay, I had a long rod and I would just tap the end of it. Or if you put the battery charger on it with a quick start, boom, it starts right up. I'm pretty sure that
maybe just go with
a heavier battery. It's
yeah,
needs some more cranking amps.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Radiator has to be unbolted and disconnected and drained if you want to swing
it out of the way. And it's got a hydraulic leak down below.
It's got a hydraulic leak,
which is its main issue.
Underneath this here. And there's a giant like main coupling that we didn't have a wrench big enough for. It probably just needs another turn.
So it's a coupling for a line, or
like the main line for everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Over the course of a year, I might put in a gallon of hydraulic fluid. You know, every once in a while you'll see little drips on the driveway, or sometimes when you're plowing you'll see it. But it's like I can never gauge how it's leaking.
Well, I don't see a ton of stains.
There's nothing here today.
So.
Right, nothing here today. The other day when you were here, there was a little bit drips here.
Yeah.
There, right when it got parked, it was.
So it undercoats as it goes.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Let's go get that on the other trailer and see how we make out with getting ourselves home.
Whenever you have it open, make sure you shut this. Otherwise, smoke's gonna not come out of your exhaust.
Yeah, since she lifts it up.
Wow. Wow.
Come on, baby. That truck actually looks pretty good level-wise.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad.
And that's what that trailer's supposed to do. Doesn't carry large volumes of stuff, but it'll take the weight, that's for sure. Yeah.
It's a beefy looking trail.
So this is what it does. You think if I put a jumper pack on that battery?
It might.
Okay. See how it does with the jumper pack. You want to push start it? Get to the tie down ring, so he's got to lift it up and tilt the bucket so he can get to the straps on it. I go up and rotate the bucket down. You set the whole thing down now. Good. We'll just leave it run forever. Never turn it on.
I could try.
Alright guys, we made it back to the shop, no problem. Everything is intact. I already unloaded the log splitter, the plow, and some other stuff that was on the trailer. But I want to jump on this instead of the tractor, and the reason why I want to get on the log splitter is because I possibly have a trade for what's called a grapple bucket. And a grapple bucket is kind of like what's on the machine now, but it has an extra jaw on top of it that comes down. You can, hydraulically grabs things and it grapples them, I guess. Anyway, I was at the diner and I was talking about what I ended up picking up, and he wants the log splitter, and he has 2 grapple buckets that he doesn't use very much because I guess he's got an excavator or whatever. Anyhow, so I want to jump on this, get this machine up and running, look into the power unit, see how it is. And he's already dropped off a couple of pieces of wood that if it's able to split them, he'd be happy with it. One thing that he wants to do also is he wants to be able to cut it and flip it around so that the hydraulics is on the bottom of it, so that he could just sit in the skid steer and line logs up and just kind of, fire it from in there and bust up the logs without even getting out of the tractor. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I have no idea what we got. I haven't even taken the cover off of this. Let's get into that power unit, see if we can get that running, and then if so, we can get that connected to this. In we go. That was hard. I was going to cut it off. That is. Probably was the strap that was holding it. Let's go see what we got. Might even fire right up. Wishful thinking, right? Alright. That doesn't want to come out. Let's go take a peek inside. Or we can just pump it right out. He was saying he thought it was a few years since this ran. So I was suspecting we need to kind of get rid of the crappy fuel anyway. Yeah, not too bad. Uh-oh. Now we're getting rust. Yeah, we got crud. Alright, that changes things up a little bit. I think we're going to have to get into the carb. I'll show you. We drew up water and everything. So the carb's going to be pretty cruddy. Let's get it over to the operating table and we'll work on it there. Instead of trying to stand up. Get to the side. See all that stuff on the bottom, different color? That's actually like rusty water. And you can even see like how the fuel is cloudy looking. That's water that's mixed up with it. So as it sits a little bit, that'll settle out even more in that water puddle. That's a lot of water. So we gotta clean that tank out, and I'm sure the carb was the fuel shut off? Fuel is in the off position. We'll find out when we take the float ball off. I'm willing to bet this doesn't work. No, it doesn't. It's sitting on the skid. I thought it was permanently attached. It's sitting on a dolly. Alright, well, we'll just continue to slide that right on over to the table. Worked out pretty good. Let's see if we can spin the noisy side around to the end of the bench. It's like it was set up to pick up the forks from the side. All right, where were we? Fuel system, right? Let's see if we get that here for a bit. Those nail biters. That's all right. I think somebody may have put self-tapping screws. I don't know if they're factory or not. It's got some funky screws going downward. It's a 13 horse, I believe. Harbor Freight. We got a breather hose. Looks pretty. Let's go get a wrench on the drain bowl. And let's go see what pisses out of it. If anything, like I said, we shut off, but not, you know, it's got rust and crap in it. That's a float. I think we probably end up just taking it apart and cleaning it anyway, just for the amount of rust that was on it. So with these, if you give them full throttle, the linkage can come out. Let me get the little wire off first. It's got a little tension spring. And if you give it full throttle, that should pop out. And then we still have the fuel line connected. Let's get rid of that. Let me get the fuel line off. That probably will piss fuel out. Go see. Yeah, because that's still connected to the tank, and then the shut off was right there. So let's go. Let it piss the gas out. That's it. All right, the carb should come out of there. And what do we got? It does not look too bad. Like there is some corrosion on it. Let me go pull it apart and we'll go soak that. Let's go look into some other things real quick. Let's go see what it's got for oil in it, see if it pulls over. Let's see if it's got spark. The other thing is nice, it's got electric start too. Whether it works or not. Yeah, it's looking pretty low. We are going to add some oil to that. That should be higher than that. And let's go give her yank on the pull start. Don't think we need to put oil down the cylinders and all that. I don't think it's been sitting that long, but a little clanky. that could be a decompression valve making noise too. All right, let me go throw a little bit of oil in it. Maybe we'll get a jumper pack and we'll put it on the pull start. Not on the pull start, on the electric start, and we'll see if the switch works over here and cranks it over. So I went to go put some oil in it. I looked over here. It's already pushing oil out of this fitting. I would have thought it would have had the you know, the ones that have the check valves built into it. Apparently not. I wonder if we can. I think it came with a bag. May have had some hoses in it. Maybe we could loop that. Either that, we got to disconnect the pump while we're trying to work on the engine. Before we get jump ahead, let's go get that motor oil in it. Probably gonna change it anyways. Shouldn't need a ton. I always kind of like to, you know, run them. It digs up all the crap and crud that's sitting in it because it all settles out. And then change the oil. Think I overdid it. Yeah. Yes, I started poking around, and this hose was tucked underneath. I thought I was going into the reserve tank, and it's not, just kind of sitting there. My guess is, when, you know, how's it look to the log splitter, it has to have some kind of, you know, two ends and in and out going to it. So the two hoses from the log splitter must tap onto here and here. But I'm wondering if we can possibly get this one to fit up underneath, and we'll just let it recirculate for now. Think so? We still got to take it apart later for the log splitter, but we'll try to get that. Let me see if we can get this machine maybe up on some 2x4s or something, and give us a little bit of room to work that. If not, there's probably a coupler under that plate we could disconnect, but let me try that first.
This ought to be easy. That was sarcasm.
I'm trying to get it
straight on.
You get it? I think so. Good. All right, I'll throw a wrench on that and snug that down, and we can go back to what we were doing. Yeah, let's hook some power to it. So you probably use like a garden tractor battery. Touch the bench. Oh, that helped. Still doesn't help. We got nothing. I don't know if we need to. I don't see any safeties on it anywhere. Let's go take a peek. We could also probably just try crossing right to that. You could try jumping a screwdriver right across right here. So just see if there's any wires that are off. I don't see anything, do you? Yeah, let's go grab a screwdriver and jump across it. This plug's got a little bit of a twist to it. Yeah, let's go jump those two terminals. Sparks? You got nothing. Okay, let's go get a test light. See where we're making it, not making it. We may just have a bad connection. Now that looks kind of crappy in there. Water starter's no good. So this is just a test light, and it should light up when we go to ground anywhere on it, and then that lead. Let me make sure it's working. All right. Test light works. We are missing somewhere in the circuit. Let's go see where that would be. On that ground lug. So these are the two terminals come off the battery. We have power. The ground lug is no good. So it goes to the end of the wire. It's going to the end of the wire, but the wire is not conducting into the block. So we should be able to disconnect this end and clamp that right to the block somewhere and see if it comes back to life. You can get it right there. All right, you got a big mouth, you can do it. You can do it, come on. Try that. Let's go put the wire back on. Okay, so that's no good. Let me get a better setup. I went right to the block right there. Now we should be able to crank it. Good. Let's go give a little puff of fuel down there and just see if it kicks off. Yeah, it should just run for a second when we do it. We can turn it off with the key too. Good. Do it again. A little clacky, but I don't hear it knocking. I think we'd be okay. Again, that oil level was low. Sometimes they have a low oil shutoff too, that it kills spark, which may or may not be disconnected. Usually there's a probe somewhere on the block, that right there, that yellow wire. See if that's still connected. And that tells you the low oil level, and it'll kill the coil, shut spark off to it. All right, so we gotta go clean the fuel system. Is what we're up to next. Let's get that. Let's go look in that gas tank. Probably gonna have to take it off. Let me go get the little probe light going in. It actually looks pretty good. I'm gonna try to absorb. I'm gonna stick a paper towel down in there with a you know, the little jaws, little grabber jaws, and a paper towel in there. We'll just kind of suck up what little bit is left in there. The rest of the tank looks pretty decent. We'll just do one of these kind of things. I'll do that a couple times. Draw up all the crappy stuff. I'll keep changing it out. New pieces. We should get it. And before we put the carb on, what we'll do is we'll put some fresh fuel in it. We'll let it flush the line out. Should be about done. Yeah, mostly dry. Partly wet. They are not Phillips, I do not believe. There we go. They look like the little ones, but they weren't. How many carburetors have we sat down together and done? It's like a fireside chat. So I should have a little flippy valve. That's a tension spring, which is broke. And then you have little chambers down below. Allow fluid to come up and go down. I would say that looks pretty clogged. Let's go get a little poker to get that O-ring out of there. So one of them has to, I would say that one right there is the other passage. Don't want to tear it. There we go. So that's the passage going into the carb, and that's the passage probably coming from here. Let's go see if we can shoot some fluid through her. That's a no. So we gotta do some rotary. If I get a wire in there. Yeah, it's packed solid. Let me we'll try it with this. See if we can get it to go through. If not, we'll poke it through with like a wire brush wire. I think we got it. Nope. All right, we have to get a little bit of a piece of wire to fish through it and clear that passage out. How about we do a little digging with the drill bit? Get the mud out. Oh yeah, there it is. It's just like white powder. We might have to try to get this tube out. All right. We're in deeper. Let's see if that did anything for us. No. Got to get that tube out. It should be just pressed in. All right. Don't want to break it. It's bending and not turning. That's not good. So we're going to work with it where it is. Let's get a piece of wire and we'll hook it to a drill and we'll see if we could run like a piece of roto-rooter in through it. Okay, got it. Sticking a wire bristle through it. I don't want to break it off. Get a fresh one. Peel off a fresh one. Sometimes you just pull them right out and hold on to them with pliers, but let's see if this will. I might have got it. You're really putting up a fight. We could try throwing it in the ultrasonic cleaner. I don't know if it's going to get in that little cavity though. I'm going to work on that a little bit and pull some of the gaskets off of it. All right, let's go see if get the main jet out of it. Let's go throw some parts in here. I don't want to lose them. We're missing a screw. There it is. Yeah. I don't think we're getting that out either. That's going to get tore up. We're going to have to hope for the best. And one thing we can do, here's a jet up here. Comes down underneath that piece of plastic. Just pry up on this. That's part of it. There we go. That way the fluid can get down. I believe that is the idle circuit part of it. All right, I'm gonna go keep working to get that little passage freed up. Well, kind of embarrassed to say how long that took to make that do that. A good 20 minutes. I had to take a spring and I kind of ground the end of it and kind of worked it through one direction and then back through the hole on the other side, working back and forth. It was just that really crudted up white powder was just so locked up in there. All right, as we were. Yeah, put back on. Let's go see if we get a clean piss test out of the fuel. Before we contaminate our nice clean carburetor. That looks pretty good. All right, we can hook all that up. And I think we could fire it up. Let it run, see what it does. I'm a little concerned about the idle circuit. The reason why I say that, well, first because we couldn't clean out that main jet, and the other part was the piece on the side over here. I'm not even looking. The piece on the side over here is very sloppy. The two pieces, I don't know if it's missing a bushing or not quite sure. Let's go see if gas pisses through. So if that's the case, it may have an issue idling. We're gonna find out. Let's go see if we got fuel going through the carb. I believe that's open. Yeah, good. Okay, I'm gonna go button some stuff up. We'll fire it up. All right, let's give it a shot. No choke, what are we on? No choke. And gas is on, throttle is towards crawl. Here's some choke. said, it might not have the idle circuit. It's acting like it. Go look at the rest of the pump. It should be just going right through. Yeah, fluid's moving. You can put the choke off the rest of the way. Yeah, the idle circuit's a little iffy. If you run it with a choke, it'll run okay. What's happening is you got your normal run circuit. We'll give it a scale. Say this is idle and this is full throttle. So it goes from full throttle, and then the governor kicks in and goes to try to bring it down to idle. There's nothing there. There's no fuel. It's not sucking anything in. And then the RPMs go too low, and the governor kicks in and it kicks the throttle back in again. So it does that hunting back and forth. And you bump a little bit of choke, it gets better. It may improve as it warms up. I don't want to run it too long with the garage door closed. Good, it's a running unit. Let's see if we can get that hooked to the log splitter and run that. Again, like if you run at full RPM, it's probably not going to show up, or like splitting wood. It's not really going to show up as far as the idle circuit's concerned. But again, when you go to run it, knock it down to an idle, that's when it's going to be doing that hunting and or stall. Think it'll pull start? Hold on. Give it some RPMs. That'll scare the shit out of you. Whoa-pow! Good. Leave it up in the air a little bit and we have to access those hoses. So the splitter itself has quick connect ends on it right there, and that would again hook into the auxiliary of the tractor. But it came with a bunch of parts and filters and all that kind of stuff left over, and it was supposed possibly two of the hoses that are in this mess are going to be compatible, hopefully, with hooking up to that. So let me see what I could dig up. So judging by that puddle right there, you would just think that I could just take that and plug it into that and we'd be kind of good. No. I went through, I mean, there's like aftermath on the floor still. Different couplers and hoses and everything else. And plus, over there, oh, it gets worse. So that went on for about a half an hour, trying to find just a combination, because there's two different sizes of hoses that are trying to meet together and couplers and all. So I finally have a setup. I am pretty much thinking I'm going to guarantee the fact that when I go to fire it up, oil is going to come spewing out of somewhere. And I'm also thinking that hopefully the polarity is the right direction. The oil flow is going in the correct way. Let's go find out. Kind of wondering how much oil is even left in the tank anymore. All right, you yell if anything goes splurring. Splurring. Let's go knock it down to more of an idle speed. Nothing. Give her some choke. Throw some logs on it. or one with a big knot in it. Well, other than that no idle circuit, works awesome. Well, I must say, I think an animal. Seems like it's performing like it should after we finally figured out how to get hydraulic lines to connect to each other. And he was concerned, like, one of them was softwood, I think one of them was pine, but then the other went to like a hardwood, and he wanted to make sure that was going to work, especially with like knots and stuff in it. And it doesn't even slow it down. It seems like it's just, you know, fine. Plus, you know, even if you sharpen the edge of it a little bit, but it's an animal. It definitely functions like it should. And 13 horsepower, it's running off. You hook it to a tractor, you're, you know, whatever your tractor is, 60, 80, something like that. I think he has a full-size skid steer he wants to hook it to, so it should work out fairly well. I'm not saying that the trade's going to go down. We're still kind of in the process of it, but I needed to figure out what I had on my end to be able to have something to bargain with, right? All right, guys, with that, I want to sign off. Thank you all for hanging out with me, having a little fun. We'll get into the tractor once if the deal does or does not go down. And right now, if I can get it with the grapple, I'd like to get that set up, and then we can try to figure out how to make all that part of it work. Plus, getting the tractor to run just by itself, because right now I think the starter is dead in it. It's stuck on the trailer, but that's for another video. All right, guys, with that, I want to sign off. Thanks for hanging out with me, doing some wrenching, and we'll do it again sometime. Till then, I'll see you later.